14 minutes into this video and I have 7 more stories. Wow. That I could remember. That's crazy. Hey guys, what's up? So today I'm going to be talking about all the times that I have passed out. Now this was a requested video like a month ago, back when I posted on my Instagram channel to see what you guys wanted to hear next. And this one between my Uber and Lyft stories won by like one person, one vote. So that's what I'm going to be doing today, is telling you guys all the times that I passed out and just like little stories if I have any. So yeah, first time that I remember ever passing out, I was in elementary school. I was sitting on the counter in the bathroom and wiggling my tooth. And then next thing I remember, I woke up on the floor with my head in the trash can, and I look over and my sister is like yelling for my parents. And that was like the start of it. That was the start of everything. So that was the first time I ever passed out. And I think it has to do with wiggling my tooth and seeing blood and just being grossed out. And I also passed out at my elementary school during a flag ceremony. It's when like the whole entire school goes to the front of the school and watches the flag raise up while saying Pledge of Allegiance. I don't know why, but that was a thing back in the day. I don't know if it's still around, but I doubt it's still around because people are so sensitive nowadays. So crazy. But I just remember putting my hand over my heart, and then next thing I remember, I was on the ground and a teacher had her hands on my face asking me if I was okay. And then I went to the nurse's office and was sent home. Again, I was in elementary school and I was in 5th grade at the time. Now, this one actually landed me in the hospital because I was looking out on the playground at the jungle gym, I guess. I was just holding on, looking out to like the field and like the rest of the 2 other playgrounds and just looking around, and I just remember it getting super bright to the point where everything just turned white and then went black. And I remember waking up in the sand and opening up my eyes to see my friend at the time run to a supervisor, and then they both ran back to me and they took me to the nurse's office. My mom came and took me to my aunt's house. I don't remember why, but we ended up just going to my aunt's house, and I had to go to the bathroom so bad. So I ended up using the bathroom, and before I went to go flush the toilet, I looked down and just peeing blood, straight blood. And so I called my mom, and she looked in the toilet and totally freaked out, went straight to the emergency room, and then they transferred me to a children's hospital, and I was there for a week, 5 days, 5 or 6 days I was in the hospital, and I actually ended up cracking my kidney. I ended up cracking my head open at Boomers in Fountain Valley. I should have trusted my instinct, because that day my grandma was actually babysitting us from the night before, and I remember her saying like,
oh, what do you guys want to do tomorrow? Like, let's go do anything you guys want to do.
Both of my sisters wanted to go to Boomers to play miniature golf. And I remember even at night, I'm like, I do not want to go. I just don't want to go to Boomers. We can do anything else, please. My grandma's like, well,
both of your sisters want to go. It's
basically 3 against 1. And we get to Boomers, and I'm telling her, like, I really don't want to play. Like, I do not want to do this right now. But as a kid, most kids would be like, hell yeah, let's play. Like, come on, it's miniature golf. But I just did not want to do it. Well, I ended up cracking my head open, and I just remember the impact, and then my grandma holding me, like running me to the arcade area. And thankfully a doctor was there at the time, like with his family, and he laid me down on the floor. He was putting pressure on my forehead and was like asking me questions, and I remember this pissed me off so much because he's like, oh, what are you doing here? I was like, I didn't want to be here. I'm with my sister and my grandma. And he's like, oh, it's your birthday today? I'm like, no, it's not my birthday. Stop asking me this. I keep telling him it's not my birthday. And So he ends up like helping me out because I was so tired. I was losing so much blood to the point where I was like, I'm tired. I just want to fall asleep. Like, let me fall asleep. Obviously, if you fall asleep, you ain't gonna wake up. Or, I mean, you might. But I was just like, let me fall asleep. But I think looking back now, he was like trying to make me angry and like make me stay awake because he kept saying like, oh, it's your birthday, it's your birthday. And I'm like, I was getting mad. And then he goes,
is that your grandma?
and I'm like, yeah.
It's like your grandma just passed out.
Like, oh. I took after my grandma because shit, I would have passed out right when that happened. So after like I got stitches and they put 16 stitches in my head. I didn't pass out through that. I just remember feeling so much pressure on my head. I'm just thinking about it right now. It grosses me out. But I didn't pass out during the whole stitching thing. But I did pass out when he took them out. So the doctor cut the stitches out of my head and put them next to my head, right? So when I got up, he said,
Do you want to take a look at your stitches?
And I don't think I processed it at the time, and I don't think my mom processed it, because my mom would have been like, no, she doesn't. But I literally looked down, and the next thing I know, I'm looking up at the ceiling, and my mom's like, you just passed out, and I'm just like, oh, God. So that happened. Another time, I ended up breaking my wrist playing soccer. Some girl pushed me down, and I fell back with my hands like this. I broke my left wrist, so I had to wear a cast. Now, the pain of breaking an arm or any body part, I'm sure, feels like 1,000 pounds is weighing down on your hand. That's how mine felt. Like, I felt like I couldn't even lift up my arm because it was so heavy. So I didn't, like, pass out through that or anything like that. I didn't pass out getting a cast, on my arm or being, doing the x-rays or anything like that. But I did pass out after the lady cut the cast off of my arm. Now, if any of you have ever gotten a cast cut off, it doesn't hurt. But to see your body or like your arm be smaller than your other arm is a little gross, and just seeing like the dirt and stuff, like the buildup and stuff like that. I don't know why, but I passed out. I think it's because of my mind and how powerful my mind is, because I remember thinking that my bone or like my arm is going to be literally like this small, and this arm is just going to be like normally like this big, So I thought my arm was going to be so tiny, and I passed out. I'm so weird, I swear. So this is back when I had braces. They needed to put spacers on all four corners of my mouth. Now, they did 3 of them. It did hurt. It was like painful, but it wasn't like that bad. And as they were doing the 4th one, I ended up passing out. Of course. Duh. And you know what they did to me? So all that shit, like, it hurt, right? And then I passed out. It was in. I was good. When I woke up, I was good. They ended up taking them all out. After they put me through that pain, after they made me pass out, they ended up taking them out and were like, we're not going to do spacers for you. We're just going to do other stuff. And I'm just like, oh my God. So I wanted my belly button pierced, and both of my older sisters went with me to go get it done. And I remember laying down and thinking like, oh my God, this is like the worst part, is when they put the clamp on your belly button to like keep your skin nice and tight so they can put the needle through. I just remember thinking like, oh my God, this is like the worst part. This is what everybody says this part hurts the worst. Well, he put on the clamp, and I was like, did you guys put the clamp on yet? And he's like, yeah, it's on. And I was like, oh, that didn't hurt at all. Next thing I remember, he's shoving the freaking needle through my stomach. Not stomach, but skin. It felt like my stomach. He was literally shoving it, like literally like pushing and coming out and pushing and coming out and pushing. It hurt so bad. And yes, of course, what did I do? I passed out. And both my sisters were there, thank God, because I didn't even mention to this guy that I passed out, I don't think. But my sister said I was convulsing, so both my sisters said the guy was freaking out. He's like,
oh my gosh, I call 911.
My sisters are like, oh
No, she's fine. She's good. Just let this happen. She'll be fine.
But obviously when I woke up, I was like drenched in sweat, because that's like a thing that happens to me is when I pass out, I wake up and I'm so sweaty, like I jumped in a pool. Like, it's bad how sweaty I get when I pass out and when I wake up. The next time I passed out, my grandma's dog actually got bit by one of my uncle's dog, and I had to take her to the vet to get her stitched up and everything. And so when it was time to pick her up, I was holding her, and they told me, hey, go sit down and we'll call you up when you need to pay. So she's so tiny, I could literally hold her like this. I'm like holding her, and I just smell, is it iron? But I just smell dried blood, just like, I imagine that's what a dead body smells like. Like, I'm not kidding you. It smelled so bad, and I'm sitting there just smelling this, and I'm like,
It smells so gross, like, ugh.
now the lady's like,
Oh, I could take your payment now.
so I'm holding the dog, and I walk up there with my card. I hand it to her, and I say, I don't feel good. I take the card back, and I go sit back down. And next thing I remember, I don't have the dog anymore, and I'm slumped over the chair, and I'm drenched in sweat. And I wake up, and I'm looking around, and the nurse is like,
Are you okay?
like sitting at the counter, like she's at her desk. There's nobody in the lobby or anything. I'm like, can barely talk because I'm like just getting back into reality. And I'm like, where's my dog? She's like,
Did you fall asleep?
What?
did I fall asleep? I just told you I don't feel good. I'm sorry I couldn't say I'm about to pass out. I just said I don't feel good, and I went to go sit back down. And she asked me, did you fall asleep? That pissed me off. I told her, no, I just passed out. Like, I gave her full-on attitude. I know you deal with dogs, but I'm a human. Like, come on now. And so this other vet, this like vet assistant came out. She had water. She was like,
Oh my god, like, are you okay? I didn't realize you passed out. I'm so sorry.
and this other girl is just sitting behind the desk, like,
I can take your payment now.
just like, oh my god. This one was actually pretty funny and random and so weird. But one night, my boyfriend was spending the night before we lived together, and I really wanted a good night's rest of sleep. And he takes sleeping medication that really knocks him out. And so he gave me half of what he takes. He's like, this will be the best sleep of your life. And so I was kind of skeptical, but I took it anyways because I wanted to sleep and stop waking up randomly in the middle of the night. Well, I remember waking up and having the best sleep of my life, but I had to go to the bathroom. I ended up going to the bathroom, and when I was halfway down the hallway, I instantly felt the feeling of, like, the symptoms of passing out. And yes, I passed out so many times where I know when I'm going to pass out, which is a good thing because that's when I tell people, hey, I'm about to pass out, and then 2 seconds later, I'm passed out. So I know my body and I know how I feel. So I told him that, and I woke up again and drenched in sweat, of course. I don't know why I keep saying that. And he is just looking at me. He's like, did you just pass out? And starts laughing at me. And of course, I'm just like, no. But yeah, that was funny. Because I passed out after taking a sleeping pill, which is kind of funny, but also probably dangerous. But that happened. Oh yeah, so this one, I ended up going to my grandma's boyfriend's funeral a couple years ago, maybe like 10 years ago, I would say. And my mom did not want me to go to the funeral. She wanted me to go to school, but I said, I want to go. You know, this guy has been in our lives for a very long time, and I want to go pay my respects to him. And so she ended up letting me go, I think. Or my dad just took me instead. But I was going with my dad, my 2 older sisters, and my uncle and my grandma, and a bunch of like their family and stuff. And it was on a very, very hot day. And I also was wearing black. Didn't have any water with me. I probably did not eat any breakfast. And we're just standing there, you know, it's a long funeral service because he's a vet, so they have like the guns going off, the music, the, you know, stuff. And so I'm like standing there, and I'm getting like super hot, super dizzy, so hungry. And I see my uncle standing in the shade. So I go walk over to him, and he's next to this other couple, and I just start getting the symptoms of passing out. And I told him, like, hey, I don't feel good. I feel like I'm gonna pass out. But I ended up passing out, and I woke up, and I was laying on my uncle, and this random couple gave me this big water bottle, and I was just chugging it. And looking back now, I chugged water from this old person. I mean, no offense to old people, but I don't like sharing water bottles with strangers. So, but I ended up passing out. My mom never found out. My dad said,
You are not telling your mom that this happened.
so yeah, I never had the chance to tell her that I passed out during that funeral, or she would have found out like right now. The most recent time that I've passed out, it was in October. It was the day before my bikini competition. My water intake was very low. My sodium intake was very low. And I was getting my eyelashes done. Now, the eyelashes took like an hour and a half, I would say. And so you're constantly laying down. Your eyes are closed the whole time. You could either take a nap or like talk to your lash artist. And I think I was talking to her most of the time. And towards the end, she was taking off my lash strips, so I was able to open my eyes. As she was like setting up the camera and taking photos, I went out to go stretch my legs, my arms. Like, you've been laying down for so long, you just want to just go stretch because it feels so good. Well, I stretched my leg, and my right calf cramped so bad. Now, if any of you guys have ever seen videos, and I might post a picture or a video right here if I find one,
this
of somebody's
is what a
cramp
looks like.
moving in their leg or arm or wherever it is, it is
my
disgusting.
God.
And
I
I've
won't
seen
stop.
so many videos like that of just cramps like literally moving around in their body. Well, that's what I felt in my leg. I felt it going up, I felt it going down. It was like pulling on my muscles, and it just hurt so bad. Like, I've never felt anything more painful in my life than I did in my leg. And I walked, to the couch. Thankfully, I was able to walk, because usually, oh my God, I forgot to tell you my tattoo story. Oh my God. How is that not written down? Anyways, so, I stood up from the bed, and I walk over like 2 steps to the couch. Thankfully, I made it, because I felt like I wasn't gonna be able to step on my foot. And I'm pulling up, Venmo to pay her, and I go, I don't feel good. I feel like I'm going to pass out, because I was getting super hot, super dizzy, and I felt like I was going to throw up. And she's like, oh,
Just take your time, you could, chill here as long as you want. My client's about to be here. Just stay here. It's fine. No worries.
and I passed out on her couch, and I woke up before I opened my eyes, I could hear this lady talking frantically on the phone or talking to somebody. And when I opened my eyes, I saw somebody standing in the doorway, and it was her client. And her client goes,
Did you just have a seizure?
I was like, no, I just passed out. She's like, are you
Sure you didn't have a seizure? Because you were convulsing like really hard. And it looks like you had a seizure.
And I'm like, no, I'm fine. Like, I just passed out. It happens. No big deal. Like, that's so sad that I have to tell people, like, it happens. I'm good. Don't worry about me. I'm good. And then I realized, oh shit, my lash artist Denise is on the phone with 911. And I'm like, Denise, like, trying to yell. I have no energy. Like, I have no food in me. I have no water. I have nothing, because I'm depleting for a competition the next day. And she finally comes over, and I'm like, please don't call 911. Like, please just get off the phone. I don't want an ambulance. I'm fine. And of course, she's like, are you sure? Like, obviously, she has to call, and she's the only person of this whole entire video who has tried to call 911. So thank you, Denise, for your concern, but I'm good. Obviously, if I needed the ambulance, I would have been like, called. Oh, my tattoo story. Don't even tell a story. But I was going in for my first foot tattoo, and everyone says, tattoos hurt, especially on your foot. Your foot and your hands are the worst, and I have one on my hand and my foot. I have one of the worst, and I want one right here. So I don't know what's wrong with me, but they said the foot tattoo is like the worst. Well, he ended up doing the tattoo and it was not that bad. It didn't hurt that much, but at the end, when he was wrapping it up and stuff, I thought that if I put pressure on my foot, like step down, my whole entire foot was going to hurt. This was my first tattoo. I was on my foot, and I thought if I was going to step down, everything was going to hurt. And so I stepped down, and guess what happened? Guess. I passed out. Yep. I passed out. After my foot tattoo. So I woke up, and I was in a chair, and people were feeding me, my sister and my ex, and my sister's ex was like feeding me candy, and we're like, you're an idiot. And I'm like, oh my God, I know. And then earlier this year, I went to the doctor's just to get like a routine checkup and all that. And I didn't pass out, but this lady, I almost passed out because the front desk asked if I wanted a flu shot. I said no. The lady that takes like your blood pressure and your height and stuff asked if I wanted a flu shot, and I said no. Then the nurse said, do you want a flu shot today? It's free. And I said, no. The doctor comes in, and I was a little bit sick, okay? Like I might be getting it right now. But I was a little bit sick, and she could hear my voice, and she's like,
You're sick, you're getting a flu shot.
Before I could say no, the nurse that I just told no stuck a freaking needle in my arm, and it hurt so bad. Like, I thought my calf hurt. This shot hurt so bad. First of all, I haven't gotten a shot in so long, but she stuck that flu shot in my arm, and I felt like I couldn't lift my arm anymore. Like, it hurt so bad. So I ended up doing like a whole entire like routine and stuff. And towards the end, before the doctor left, I said, I don't feel good. I feel like I'm gonna throw up and pass out. She's like,
just take as much time as you need. Just chill here. You know, you just hang out here for 20 minutes before I need to like get the new client in.
And I was like, okay, that's fine. So I'm just laying there, and I'm getting super hot. My mouth is watering, and I start throwing up. And the nurse came in. She's like, oh
my God, are you okay?
Come on, really? I'm throwing up. You think I'm okay? And she walks back out. She's like, oh, go get you water. She comes back with water. She comes back with her and the doctor. And the doctor's like,
do you get flu shots often?
And I say, no, this is the first flu shot I've ever had in my life that I know of. And she goes,
oh, well, that's probably why you don't feel good. Your body's probably denying it. Like, this, you know, this happens to some people. Your body is probably denying the shot.
Oh my gosh. If I would have gone back in time and been like, I literally told so many people no, like, can I sue her or something? I literally told so many people no, and before I could tell her no, she stuck a needle in my arm without me saying anything. Like, ugh. And I told my dad that, and he just said doctors like get paid for every shot that they do or something. I don't know, but oh my God. And then she has the audacity to be like,
I know this is your first time here, but if you want me as your doctor, just go to the front desk and like request me to be like your main doctor.
Like, I am never coming back to you ever again. I don't care that you were nice, but you do not just stick needles in my arms without me saying anything to you. And the last time that I recently almost passed out, this is an almost passed out story. I was in Las Vegas with my dad, my grandma, my sister, and my boyfriend, and we were at an omelet house sitting around the table waiting for our food to come, and we bring up the vaping topic. Now, my sister starts talking about this guy who started vaping, and it blew up, and he lost half of his jaw. And she says that they need to reconstruct it, and basically stuff like that. And I'm sitting next to her thinking, how does this man eat? How does this man talk? When they reconstruct it, is it gonna look normal? Is it gonna look different? Like, just thinking about him not having a jaw. Think about what it looks like. Does he just have like a tongue hanging out with like just black all around? Like, it's just, I'm just picturing really nasty things. And this is in Vegas, and we're at a restaurant and waiting for our food, and I instantly start feeling really nauseous and dizzy. And this happens for probably like a minute, and she mentioned something about the bathroom, and I said, I'll go with you to the bathroom. So on our way back, and I was like, hey, I almost passed out back there. Like, if I would have not left to go to the bathroom, I would have passed out. So we get back to the table, and I'm like, I don't want to talk about anything gross. And I couldn't even talk about vaping. I couldn't even say the word of vaping without it coming back into my mind. Like, that's how powerful I think my mind is, and how my mom always said I have a very, very powerful mind when it comes to passing out, because I feel like I can make myself pass out. As weird as that sounds, but when I think about something for too long, or think that something is gonna hurt when it really doesn't, I'm still gonna pass out. So I texted my sister to tell everybody to not talk about it at the table. And so Megan's like, oh,
guys, we can't talk about this because Brittany almost passed out.
so close to the point of getting up from the table and sitting down in the corner, because we were in a corner table. So I would have sat on the other side of my dad's so no one could really see me. But I was so close to just going to sit on the floor and just fanning myself and pouring water on my face, because I was so close to passing out. I don't know why, honestly. Well, obviously I know why, but like, those are all the times that I remember that I passed out. I'm sure there are many other times where I passed out. Like, obviously getting like my blood drawn and stuff, I passed out before, but that's just like basic stuff. But yeah, that's all the times that I can remember. I'm sure my mom like had other stories of me being young and passing out. But yeah, that concludes all of my memories of passing out. I'm sure maybe my dad has different memories, my mom had different memories of me passing out, but these are the ones that I can remember. So hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I'm weird and crazy, and I don't know why, and even when nothing hurts me, I still pass out because my mind is so powerful and I think about it way too much. But if you guys passed out for any crazy reasons, let me know in the comments below. Thank you for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Bye!